Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
If you're a non-farmer, you may occasionally hear an agronomist or a farmer say something like, "Fall is a really good time to control weeds." Well, today on the show, we want to talk about why exactly that is.
All right, I'll talk about something from way back when we were kids. Fall was a great time to control weeds around the farmyard. Why? Well, Mom's flowers were pretty much done, so we weren't going to hurt them. The leaves were starting to fall off the trees, so we weren't going to hurt any trees. It was a good time for young kids that were just getting started who might make some mistakes out there to really not hurt anything. So we could kill weeds because the other crops around us, well, they weren't growing anyway, so that gave us a lot of leeway.
All right, so there is that side of things, certainly, but one of the biggest reasons why here in the northern United States we usually talk about fall weed control is because if we can injure that weed at least, even if we don't completely kill it, hopefully winter is going to finish off the job. We want great winter kill, and if that weed is weakened, winter can usually do that work.
Well, you think about what the toughest weeds out there are. A lot of them are winter annuals, things that get a start in the fall, and then by spring, they've got a deep root system and they're really tough to control. Like dandelions are a great example. They just have this great big root by spring, and now it's tough to, even in cool weather, get enough herbicide into that plant to really knock it out. The other thing is these really tough perennial weeds like Canada thistle, for example. Wow, if that thing is going in your field, it could be the last thing living there in the fall. It is a good opportunity to knock it out before it takes over.
But either way, anything that's going to live over the winter here in the northern United States, it has to store up a lot of nutrients in its root system. So basically the transfer of material is going down. If you can catch the weed at that point, it will also pull the herbicide down in there. So that usually works quite well too. So whether you're doing tillage to stop the weed or you're spraying a herbicide, fall is a great time for a lot of different reasons. But the biggest thing that we want to just stress here is, most importantly, any time is time to kill weeds. We do not want weeds in the field. It's fall coming up here, so get ready to spray.
Well, okay, let's look at a corn crop, for example. Let's just say it's 10 feet tall during the summer, but once harvest comes and all that crop is gone, now you can see whatever weeds broke through on the ground. And that is the time where, hey, now I can actually get to those weeds and knock them out. So for farmers, right after harvest, whether that's wheat harvest in the summer or a corn or soybean harvest in the fall, that is a great time to see those weeds and get them under control.
Now, here's where I have to disagree with Darren just a little bit, because for our farm, when we would harvest corn, and we still do in a lot of cases, harvest that grain corn really late in the year, it's too cold. We want to spray a week or two before the first hard killing frost. What happens if you have a killing frost, a lot of the above ground growth, let's say it's a perennial weed or a biennial or just something that's going to live over the winter, a lot of that foliage will die off and you can't get the herbicide in there very well. So ideally we want to spray before the frost, and sometimes that works out with our harvest, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, there are a lot of challenges to controlling weeds, and to Brian's point, anytime you see a weed is a good time to get it under control. But many folks will look at fall as this opportune time when it's still warm out there and the weed will take in the herbicide to knock it out.
Hey, last thing really quick. Roundup has to be sprayed before that last frost, or first frost, I should say. Whereas 2,4-D and dicamba and a lot of other products, it's not quite as critical, still makes a difference. But Roundup, I mean, once you have your first frost, you're wasting your money for the most part spraying Roundup after that date.
And that may be one of the products you consider using to control our weed of the week. We'll show you if it's effective coming up later in the show.